Kenya was hosting the president of Senegal, His Excellency Diomaye Faye. And I thought the people on the side of government would interact with him on what matters most, because they could have learned lessons. Diomaye Faye and Osman Sonko came to power last year in Senegal. Unfortunately, when they arrived in terms of the reins of power, they realized that the government of Senegal had secretly borrowed over 13 billion US dollars of the Book of Senegal. And currently, as we talk, Senegal is in a crisis that is precipitated by that illegal secret borrowing. Kenya ought to learn from Senegal that we cannot continue, and I've been speaking about this matter. It is more important than most of the things we are talking about in the public domain, because the effects are now, but they'll be more catastrophic later. Kenya continues to borrow illegally secret loans that are not included in the book of loans. When you hear me talk about Kenya is borrowing 3.5 billion every day, it does not include the money the government keeps on borrowing on securitization. They already did 7 shillings of fuel levy in terms of collecting in advance. They are now securitizing another 5. Kenya now is in the process of taking a loan using the housing levy. That the housing levy Kenyans ought to pay for the next 7 to 10 years, they want to borrow today. Meaning even the flexibility of any government that would come and they would want to abolish or lower some of these levies is being constrained. And I keep wondering why the National Treasury can come up with even those kind of documentations and not batting even their eyes. They don't seem like they're doing the wrong thing. Maybe they need to learn from countries like Senegal that you cannot continue playing PR on economic figures, because when there is a deceleration in the economy, it doesn't matter how you communicate or the PR you engage in to communicate around that. Figures will continue to manifest. And unfortunately, that is why in Kenya, when you interact with Kenyans, they say there's no money, because some of the decisions we are making also compound to the situation we are in as a country, economically speaking. So Kenya must maintain one book of debts. And I'm calling upon all our lenders, IMF, the World Bank. They have competent people in their offices. They cannot continue to fold their hands when they see things that are happening where their voice is needed. Because we cannot afford to lose our economy. And we cannot afford to lose our country, Kenya, on the economic front. But the secret loans we are taking will definitely lead to a situation that is not very palatable for our economy. And I'm requesting those who are involved, please stop securitization. Stop taking boards that are off the book, like the Talanta board. Stop securitizing and taking a board on the housing levy, on the tourism fund levy. In Kenya, when you hear any word inamalizika na fund, I mean an institution of government, whatever name you give it, the last name is a fund. Just know that that is another way of taking a loan. When you hear about infrastructure fund, just know it is an illegal loan that is in the offing. When you hear about tourism fund, scrutinize. You will see there is a loan in the offing or already taken. When you hear about your levy, RMLF, again is a fund, is another illegal loan. So we have now shifted. Yes, we are over borrowing on the main book, but Kenya has also become more cleverer. We are now borrowing off the book. We are definitely borrowing the book